Kia ora, Aotearoa. Happy Wednesday. Let's see what we've had so far today. Bit of a foggy start to the day in parts of the North Island. That should be clearing away as the day goes on. And in the South Island, we've seen a little bit of cloud starting to increase, and of course, those showers in the west. So let's see what we're expecting for the rest of the day. It is all about that low pressure system bringing some rain and showers with it as it comes along. In the west, we're already seeing some showers, and that turns to rain as the day goes on. But for the rest of us, it should still be a fairly settled night ahead. Going into the overnight period, we see some of those showers making their way onto the lower South Island and then eventually to the top of the South Island, and then as the morning comes on, onto the North Island as well. So having a look at those temperatures, you might notice not as cold as what we've had recently, certainly mostly in the positive, still fairly chilly, around 2 degrees in the Canterbury Plains and in the central North Island, but for up in Auckland, a lovely 9 degrees, much warmer than what it was this morning. So having a look at what we're expecting for tomorrow, it is again about that low pressure system. Thursday is looking like the wettest day for most of us this week, and even some possible snowfalls in elevated parts of the South Island. So let's take a closer look at what we're expecting. As the morning comes on, that low pressure, that front with the low pressure system moves along, meaning an increase in showers, possibly heavier as the system moves along. So a bit of a wet day expected on Thursday. Even in the east, it might not start off too wet, but as the day goes on, we're expecting those showers to start moving in. The other thing to keep in mind for Thursday is it is a northerly flow, and around those fronts, we're expecting quite breezy winds, those strong northerlies making a return, and certainly for us here down in the capital, a breezy, windy, welly day ahead. Looking at the temperatures as well, because of that northerly flow and the cloud, again, not too cold, very average for this time of year. So around 16 degrees, 15, 16 along the eastern parts of the North Island, and even up north, 16 up in Auckland. And overnight into Friday morning, those temperatures, again, a little bit higher than what we've had recently. So let's have a look at the South Island. Again, that low pressure system bringing quite a bit of wet weather, in particular for the top of the South Island, parts of Marlborough and North Canterbury. It's been very dry out there, so definitely quite welcome rain over there. But of course, some snowfalls also expected in those inland parts. We could see those snow levels dropping down to about 700 meters. So for those places that are quite elevated, especially in Canterbury, do be aware there could be some snow on the way. But elsewhere, once that low pressure system has passed in the west and in the far south, we should start to see a general clearance as the day goes on. So speaking of that snow, again, it is mostly elevated areas, but we could see some of it settling on those high level roads. So places like Arthur's Pass and Porter's Pass do currently have a road snowfall warning in place. That is from 1 p.m. for the rest of the day. So if you are planning on traveling on any of those roads, do be aware there could be some snow on the surface. So looking at the temperatures then for tomorrow, very similar again, those temperatures in the mid-teens. So a bit of a chilly feel. It is winter after all, but maybe not quite as cold as what we've had recently. And similarly for those overnight temperatures into Friday morning in the mid-single digits, much higher than what we've had, those very cold temperatures recently. So speaking of Friday, we're heading towards the weekend. This low pressure system and its fronts gradually move off the North Island, but it is still looking fairly wet for the top of the South Island. So keep up to date on metservice.com with regards to that. As the day goes on, however, the rest of the South Island is expected to gradually clear, and that continues into Saturday as well. Still a little bit of showers in the eastern North Island, but for everybody else, things gradually clearing, maybe a bit of cloud in the South Island, and by the end of the day, a little front moving across the southwestern South Island. That's all I have for you for today. Matewa.